Today's High Performance Podcast is brought to you by Josh Phegan Digital. It's where you'll find our incredible short courses. In under 60 minutes, you'll grow all the key skills, covering specific areas like how to hire an assistant, grow a team, to list better properties, to grow better fees, and to master your pipeline. Welcome to High Performance, the podcast featuring Josh Phegan and Alexander Phillips. Alexander, today I wanted to talk about really approaching markets, and one of my favorite ones is about third-party data and insights. And what you've got to realize is that you've got to know your market better than anyone else. And it's nice to say that about what's been listed, what's been sold, and what's had a price reduction. But more than that, I look at some other third-party data sources that really help me. And one of those has been Louis Christopher's SQM, where I can go and have a look and it will tell me how many listings are on over 180 days, over 90 days, over 60 days, over 30 days, and under 30 days. And that helps me to build a better quality story. Alex, you look at other things about what's actually happening in the marketplace, and that might be the conversation on what's going on in the share market, what's happening with crypto, what's happening in the US, what's happening in Australia, having a bit of an understanding about how that goes to impact your marketplaces. What are some of the third-party data sources that you look at consistently that help you to be able to create a better narrative for either a buyer or a seller, to be able to sway them to make a decision in your favour today?
There's lots of factors that we take into play, like what we were just talking about a minute ago about the election, coming, what that's going to do to the market, how you can sort of navigate around that. Global elections, interest rates, globally, where our interest rates are going, where, the tariffs that, Donald Trump's put in place, what that might do to the market. As of April this year, the banning of overseas buyers for the next 2 years, what that means to the market, does it have any effect? The additional stamp duty you pay from overseas, FIRB approval amounts and stuff like that. So there's a lot, particularly in the marketplace we work in, which is quite a global market. You've got to be across all of that. And it definitely helps you with talking to an educated vendor that you are very well across, what is happening and what that might do to your marketplace. So I think that's it's interesting. Like, I speak to lots of people, and they probably don't even know what the what the Nasdaq is, or the Dow Jones, or the actual what
and why that impacts, right?
Like where the US dollar's at the moment, where the euro's at, where the pound's at. Like, these are all things that you should be across, because that person that's coming in from London that's just sold in Notting Hill, that's bringing their money over here, that they're getting a half price house basically. They're bringing pounds. So they're all things you can use in the dialogue with that buyer. Now, exchange rates, you're saving 10%, the market's off 10%, you're 20% ahead. So these are all things that if you're fully across, you can use that in selling, to a vendor, selling to a buyer, and getting in their head on what they should be doing to actually sell or buy at the moment.
Great example of this is when an agent just feels that all of a sudden they just got lucky. So they get one listing, then they get 2 listings a month, and then there's 1 month where they just get 5 listings, and they're like, Alex, I'm killing it. But what they don't realise is what's actually happening in market. There's only 10 houses available. Then there was 20 houses available. And now overnight, there's now 70 houses available in that marketplace. And even though they've got 5, they don't realise that everyone's also got a lot more listings. So now the buyers have got heaps of choice, and the skill set's now shifted to price reductions, buyer work, seller work to actually get it sold. And they don't realise that because they're not really understanding about the market. And I'm not just talking about what sold down last week. But mate, if that buyer has got 10 extra houses to choose from, like I, for example, look in Balmain, I have not seen a house that I could have a look at for a little while. Right now, there's 3 or 4 that are on market. And it's interesting because I haven't seen that in 2 years.
And then you probably go out looking and go, oh shit, maybe I should wait for the next 3 or 4. Then your urgency drops. Like, why am I buying now? So that's a buyer behaviour that, and the other thing is you're actually going out buying. So agents, that haven't bought or sold definitely don't have an advantage over those that have, because I understand the roller coaster ride you go through as a buyer.
Yes, and I think that whole conversation, if you're going to get really good at this, what data do you need to look at? So I'd always say, how many properties are currently available for sale? Because that's all about supply. What's the average number of buyers we're getting open for inspections? Like, literally, let's have a look at the average number of bidders that we're actually getting that are trying to bid. Or if we're in private sales scenario for sale, how many of us on average are we getting per property, and when are they actually happening? Because what you're the best at is that when it's off, geez, you move quick.
whereas others go 6 weeks down the track and go, do you reckon it's off? And you've already moved again in terms that, oh, you know what, we're not selling enough in this price range, so we need to shift up or we need to shift down price range, get a couple of extra listings there. If we sell a couple of sellers there, they'll be the buyer who'll buy the next one that's more expensive. Whereas a lot of people are not that clear about actually doing it. So I'd say to you, we know that there's core data that comes out. So on the first week of every month, you're always going to get some sort of report on what's happening in every market across the country. A price is going up, down, or sideways. We know that literally 8 times a year, we're going to get a conversation from the RBA about what they're doing with interest rates. We know that SQM is going to come out with a report on what's actually happened to total listing volumes in a market in one point in time. You know that every day you can have a look at crypto and exchange rates and what's inside of the AFR, so you can have an understanding of what's actually making an impact in your marketplace. Get really good at knowing those data sets. Everything changes.